Hiya, I'm Stephanie. Ayada bede dome de etere gur mede und. For those of you who don't speak Danish, or if you do speak Danish and I just botched the hell out of that phrase, what I attempted to say was, Hi, I'm Stephanie, and take the good with the evil. And I am here with user Lars Needs Help, aka also known as Savanna Lanausse.
Howdy, everyone.
How was my translation?
I think you got an A for effort.
Thank
That was
you.
great.
Oh, that's such a little backhanded compliment, you know?
I mean, we're not Danish, so of course I don't think you're going to be fluent, but I like the
No, and I use
execution.
Google Translator. And by the way, Danes, you really gotta tell Google to help you guys out because that translation thing, it's not sounding good. It's very incoherent. Maybe
Rough.
I don't think that's just the language either. It just genuinely sounds incoherent on Google. For example, today we're going to be talking about a TV show titled Kingdom in the US, but we've been calling it RIGET, thinking that that's how it's pronounced. And when I tried looking up how RIGET is pronounced, the Google Translate just went, ooh. So I don't know. I have a feeling. I mean, some words that we popped out that we were saying, like, for example, one character, Aggie, it's actually like, ooh. So I don't know. It totally could be ooh or, some variation. But if any Danish speaking person would like to comment and say, hey, it's actually pronounced this, or Stephanie, you did good, or Stephanie, don't do this again. Just take it easy with the Danish, take it easy with the language.
I think they would respect you for trying.
One could only hope. One could really only hope, but I really don't. I really botched that up. I really botched it, but I tried. So yeah, the A for effort thing works. But yeah, so how you doing, Savanna? How's everything going?
Honestly, I'm feeling a little dark because I just finished the last episode like an hour ago.
Oh, same.
Feeling a little dark. Feeling a little dark.
Same here. So besides Riget, is there anything else that you've seen recently or anything new that you want to talk about?
I just started. I think you started the show too. It's called Kevin Can F Himself.
Yes, I
I
did
love it.
start it. I think it's brilliant. I mean, I really hope that they know how to balance the structure of the show, because I can see it getting old down the road, but it kind of is ingenious to kind of switch from different filming TV styles. I think that concept is incredible.
I can see what you're saying. Like, I do admit, like, the more interesting times is when we're just with her and not so much the sitcom-y part. But I do think at some point, because I don't know if anybody knows the plot to this, but it's kind of a darker plot.
Mm-hmm.
I do think at some point it's going to do like a full switch. So I'm really looking forward to it.
For sure. And I really hope they do continue to play with different, not only styles, but I really hope they actually start paying homages to TV shows and stuff. I know that they kind of, in terms of sitcom, they really try to mimic like a show like Everybody Loves Raymond.
I
And you
was
could
thinking
tell
King
with
of
like
Queens.
that too. I was also thinking that too, but I heard that specifically the set was meant to mimic. And if you realize it, like the way characters enter in and stuff like that, because kings and queens always enter like from left to right. Everybody Loves Raymond is one of the very few that enters from right to left in terms of set.
Interesting.
Yeah. So I read that was their inspiration for the set and things like that. But I really think like so far I got through the first episode, which I think is technically 2 episodes. I think it was like 2 hours. So it may have been the first 2 episodes or
Mm-hmm.
just 1 episode lopped with 2, I don't know. But so far so good. It seems very promising, and it seems like, because I really like the actress, I'm a big fan of her. I really like her on Schitt's Creek. And I'm really happy she hasn't been stereotyped as like the ditzy young, girl.
Yeah,
I'm happy they are giving her other things and playing around and dabbling a lot.
for sure. For sure. I'm really excited to watch the rest of the show. I'm on episode 4, I think, actually.
Oh, wow. Wait, did they release it all at once? I thought, or is it like weekly? Is it coming out a new episode?
It's weekly. It's like
Oh,
every
okay.
Sunday.
I'll have to
Yeah.
check it out. I'll have to get caught up with it.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what else I've been. Oh, I actually have a little bit of a little bit of TikTok tea.
Ooh,
So,
TikTok tea.
and I want to know what your thoughts are on this, and
Of
even to
course.
anyone who's listening. Um, so I saw this TikTok, and I'm not going to name users, and I'm not going to name names, but I thought it was so weird and so funny how this guy was making videos essentially, and it was like red flag movies that women like and green flag
Oof.
movies that women like. And the thing that I thought was surprising,
This
because
sounds
normally,
misogynistic. I'm sorry. I feel
well,
like this gonna not be go this is not gonna go well.
it was very weird because everything that was considered green light was like, if she likes Mean Girls, if she likes Clueless, she's good. But if she likes Frozen, she sucks. And I'm like, huh? If she likes High School Musical, run away. I'm like, what?
What is the criterion this is under? Like
Oh, I don't know. Like I this guy didn't really even name like any good movies. Like he was just like, if she likes Clueless, that's good. She's probably really nice. And I'm like, really?
that movie is about a spoiled girl.
Same with Mean Girls. He was, and I don't know, it could totally be satire, but from the looks of it, it didn't seem like it, you know?
Yeah, that just sounds misogynistic. I don't know.
It just sounded weird because it was like, first of all, like I thought it was just interesting that the guy would say like, "Oh, Frozen's a red flag, but not Clueless." I think some other movies, it wasn't even like, it's all mainstream movies. There wasn't anything that's like niche. Like it wasn't like, I could totally understand if the guy was like, "Yo, if she likes Antichrist, run for the hills." That makes sense. That makes sense. There's actually logic behind that. But if like, you know, she likes Mulan, she's cool. If she likes that new baby movie that Disney did, what is it? The little, with Alec Baldwin as the voice?
Boss Baby?
Yeah, it's like if she likes Boss Baby though, it's a fail. Like
This might be just a personal attack to somebody at this
I
point.
feel like this man was hurt. I really like I kind of like I don't want to bring out like, he could be going through something, but I really do want to be like, "Hey, like are you good? Like
Like, what
who
woman did
hurt
this?
you?
Yeah.
Who hurt you?" And it's like the the one who got away, like Mean Girls and Clueless, and the one who crushed your heart, did she really like Frozen? Like, kinda like that, but
Definitely.
I don't
Yeah,
know the guy,
definitely.
so I'm not gonna ask him invasive questions. But I
There would
just
be
think
no
that's
other logical reason
but
to
I also just think
divide
it's
that.
weird. It's weird. I mean, yeah, like, I can see some people, like, saying, like, "Oh, red flag, green flag," whatever it may be, because I feel like, just certain movies, if someone says, like, "Oh my god, yeah, they're my number 1," like, you
There's a
know,
problem. There's a problem. Yeah.
yeah, there's issues. Like if you meet a college guy and he's like, Wolf of Wall Street, number 1 favorite.
Run.
Yeah,
Mm-mm.
I think that's fair because I think I think that's factually backed
Like, if
by
he looks
science
up to the
somehow.
film, no.
But that would be like if he likes Spider-Man, run. But if he likes Batman, he can stay. It's all
Yeah,
the same thing.
no logic to it.
it's
Absolutely.
it's all good stuff.
That man was hurt.
I
That
really
man
think he
somebody hurt
was
his
hurt.
feelings.
Like, so if you had to say that you had a red flag, green flag movie. And it doesn't have to be like, oh, like would you date or go on a date? Just in general, just for any person, what would your red flag and green flag movies be?
It's hard because knowing you, you like a
I
lot
know
of
what you're gonna
movies
say. All of
that
my
I
favorite
would
movies are red flags.
but you're not a crazy person, and I understand after talking to you about it, like, why you like it, so I'm trying to be as objective as possible because I think a lot of people would say that your movies are red flag movies.
Oh, for sure. I was waiting for that. And I was waiting to like, I was totally waiting for the guy to go like, she likes Last Tango in Paris or Brando or Defoe, or it just ripped me apart because I totally understand that those all seem like red flag movies in a lady. Like,
Mm, okay.
no girl our age is going, yeah, Daddy Lars.
No, no, you're not gonna say that.
I,
Mm-mm.
I'm not saying it. I'm not saying it, but I'm giving an example.
Okay. I think I have a criterion for a red flag.
Is it Solo?
It is movies where women are tortured. So, Funny Games or mistreat like Clockwork Orange, if they're just like, "Yes, I look up to this film is fantastic," I think that's a red flag.
Okay.
100%. If you to name me a movie where a woman is, like, obscenely like, I'm talking about just, like, not even for plot, like these films, Run for the Hills. Like, if you look up to this movie, not if you like, "Oh, I liked it when I saw it." I mean, like, if this person like, "I have several copies of this." Not to
I
shame the
kind of
people
get
that have
it.
Solo,
It's
but
funny because I feel that with the only movies that I like. I know why I like certain movies. I know why I like Last Tango in Paris. But if some rando's like, "Oh my god, I love it," I'm gonna be like, "Why?
yeah,
Why?"
they need a good reason. They need
Because
a
I
very
have my
specific
reasons.
reason. Well, you have good reasons for liking it, but you also criticize the movie where it needs to be criticized.
And
You know what
I
I'm
also
saying?
take the the good and the ood with it.
Ugh. Lars, no. Yeah, you have reasons and you also don't defend the film where it doesn't need to be defended. I'm talking about people that just idolize a movie and don't like criticize what's wrong with the movie. Oh, for example, A House That Jack Built. If you idolize that movie, problem.
Yeah, I could
Problemo.
like if you think like,
If you like
oh,
it, it's
if you
okay.
especially if you think like, oh my god, he's the best character ever written, it's like, someone needs help. Call the police, yeah. Like, and I enjoy the movie. I've seen it more than once. I've probably seen it 4 times at this point. I like the movie, but do I think it's a perfect movie? No. Do I say, hey, go see this movie for a jolly good happy time? No.
Yeah, absolutely not.
No. So I don't know. I feel like what some of my red flag movies are like typically the movies, and like the thing is like it's okay to like any type of movie. It's just a
We're
red
not
flag
shaming
movie
here.
is to me a movie that someone takes and makes it their personality, aka Wolf of Wall Street.
Mhm.
Things like that. Liking Wolf of Wall Street's not a bad movie, but
Yeah,
when you center it around your personality, yeah, it's a little bit weird. Same with
yeah.
like Pulp Fiction. Pulp Fiction is a great movie. You don't need to start carrying a wallet around that says bad mother effer, you know? It's just not
So
necessary.
you think when they take it too far, that's your red flag?
Yeah, like for me, anything I like about Last Tango in Paris, it stays either on this podcast or in my room. I'm not toting around the VHS. I'm not toting around the Blu-ray, and I'm also not recommending Last Tango in Paris to others. I think that's a big difference.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah.
Even with like House that Jack built. Like if someone's like, "Oh, I want to watch a movie that's like awful and like will make me feel sick." Yeah, there you go. I'll throw that in there and throw it in the hat. But if someone's like, "Oh, I really want to watch good cinema," I may not recommend that because it's just not for everyone. And I know it could totally be perceived like imagine if we were recommended. Someone was like, "Hey, can you review the house that Jack built for us?" We'd despise that person. We'd be like, "What did you do? You set us up. You planned for this."
Yeah, yeah.
But I just thought it was so interesting how like it didn't seem like any of the movies mentioned went beyond 2002 in that TikTok. And it didn't look like the guy was like, young either. It wasn't like a 15-year-old, probably like a dude in his mid 20s or something. Could totally be wrong,
Mm.
but just assuming here. But yeah, just thought it was really funny where it was like Frozen, red flag, but Mean Girls and Clueless, grab her. I'm like, okay, sure
No,
thing.
that guy was out for blood at that point.
I think he was just hurt. I really, I hope he finds a partner with good cinematic taste and, isn't just going to make him watch Mean Girl like or Disney films the rest of his life either way.
That's probably why he's so angry.
I think he's just sad. I think he's just going through stuff and that's okay. But anywho, so today we're going to be talking about Kingdom. And I say let's get right into it because it's a TV show and it is 2 seasons long. And so the way I kind of discovered Kingdom was kind of by accident. I had no idea Lars Von Trier made a TV show. And I remember if there's a noise, it's because literally a fly just went on my microphone. I wonder if we picked up
Ew.
little pitter patters. That would be so
That's really
cool.
scary. On par,
Anyways,
though.
anyways, so I did not know about Kingdom. I did not know, or Riget. Sorry, we're gonna call it from Riget from here on out. I was not familiar with it until I saw the announcement that Lars was making a season 3 and it's coming out next year. So I was like, "Ooh, I want to see the show," and it's a show essentially inspired by Twin Peaks. Lars said, "David Lynch, I can do you one up." Not sure about that, but that's what he thought. And so he made this show titled Riget. So Riget lasted from 94 to about 97, 96, 97. And once again, here we have a bunch of Danish names that I will be mispronouncing. But essentially, it's written and directed by Lars Von Trier, and it's about doctors at an ultra modern hospital in Copenhagen, Denmark, become convinced by way of weird, inexplicable happenings that the place is haunted. If you live in the UK, you could probably find this on DVD. However, if you live in the US like we do, we have found the English translated subtitle versions of it on YouTube. So you can watch it there. Although I will say, out of nowhere, they took down season 1, episode 2. So good luck finding that one.
What?
I don't know what happened. It just
That's
was
annoying.
deleted from my playlist. So if that's the case, if it doesn't come back up, I'm sorry. That would suck because I think season 2 is that episode 2 is a pretty good one. But anywho, there's also DVDs, but they're like $30 and you need like the Blu-ray it is complicated. But anyways, so in terms of cast, we have Ernest Hugo Jagare, who plays Stig Helmer. We have Gita Norby, who plays Rigmor. Peter Magian, who plays Moge. We have Kirsten Rufels, who plays Miss Drusse. Soren Pilmark, who plays Jorgen. Oh my god, wait, no. What's his name on the show, though? That's not his actual name. Who's the guy I call Matthew Perry?
Oh, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Hook. They call him Hook.
Hook,
They
yes.
call him Hook. Okay, but on the show he's known as Jorgen Kroshog. But we call him Hook because that's how he's known in the subtitled version. There is Udo Kier, who plays Ooh. Ooh. He just plays Ooh.
You sound like you're gonna throw up.
That's literally what it sounds like on the show, though. That is not the English translation. That is what they say on the show.
That's great.
You have Holger Yul Hansen, who plays Einar. You have Jens Oken, who plays Boulder. Otto Brodenberg, who plays Hansen. You have Bard Owe, who plays Bondo. And then you have characters like Judith and Mona and Christian. And then I believe our little favorite characters, the little dishwashers, because I think dishwasher in Danish is opvasker. And it doesn't say dishwasher, it just says
This language is
opvasker. So
fantastic.
just assuming that it is them, those two lovely characters are played by Brigitte Raberg and Vita Jensen. So, with all the botching and whatnot done, as a scope overall, Savanna, what do you think about Griget?
I want to say one of the things I noticed when got into season 2, what a flip. What
Mm-hmm.
a flip. Season 1 was more of like a spooky, supernatural hospital drama, and season 2 is full on Lars. Have you ever seen a Lars Von Trier movie? This is season 2. Expect it completely.
I do like the fact that he kind of eases you into it, though.
Yeah, different. That's
It
the
was
difference.
nice. Nice of him.
Sure, absolutely. So I think the show kind of does a complete turn on season 2. I did enjoy it. I did like the drastic change of it all, but it was definitely like jarring. Season 2, all of season 2 is just jarring. All in all, it's a pretty good show. It's very entertaining. I'm going to say this though. I don't know if it makes complete sense. Even in the terms of like the story, I don't think sometimes it makes complete sense.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my only thing. I think Lars was trying to go for shock value and he was trying to go for a David Lynch-esque situation, but he got it. He got the shock value, but I don't know at what cost. Like, I don't know if the story was completely cohesive.
I could see
So,
that, but if someone has access to either the DVD or to
oh,
all
watch it.
episodes
It's
on YouTube.
so entertaining. Very good. Um, I enjoyed the little, goodbyes from Lars every episode.
Oh my god,
Very
that is
Lars.
honestly probably like if you don't care to watch the show, just watch the sweet little morsels that and I really appreciate this as a writer and director myself at the fact that every episode Lars in a little tuxedo comes out in front of a little red curtain and talks about the episode and then signs off every episode by saying in Danish, "Hello, I am Lars Von Trier and I suggest you take the bad with the good, essentially, or the good with the bad." And he does a little cross insignia, and then he makes a little Hail Satan little rock, little symbol with his hands. Is that what it's called? The little rock symbol?
Yeah, it's like rock and roll. Yeah.
What is going on? Sorry, it's like my mother is calling the dog. But anyways, so what is this? Is she singing?
I hear her. I literally hear her. Cindy,
I
we
can't.
are recording a
I don't know if you
podcast.
heard, but she just said, "Come on," because I have my one little dog on a onesie right now, so I just
Is
heard her
it
go, "Stretch your
Molly?
little legs." Sorry
Molly.
about that. Anyways, so yeah, and if they're right outside right now, outside my window, so if you hear any more, "Come on, let's go," and if you hear barking progress afterwards, yeah, it's my mom and my dogs.
We
But
forgive them.
anyways, in terms of my opinion on the show, I think it's highly entertaining. I also was surprised at how funny it was at some moments, especially in season one.
Oh, Helmer's the best.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I really, it has a lot of elements to enjoy. Is it weird? Yes. At some points, are there plot holes and gaps, especially since season two does really leave you hanging? Yeah, but overall as a show, it's very good. And usually I don't take well to supernatural type of shows, but I felt like this was well balanced enough and I felt like it really did bring a lot of factors within show that I've never seen before and definitely the idea of certain things and just random little shocking tidbits that happen here and there. But let's go through all the characters and to help us remember things. So we ended up watching some episodes together because we struggled to watch it alone because some parts of it are a
Creepy.
little jarring, scary, creepy, all those words. So I may bring up some characters I referred to, like I said, a Hook I referred to as Matthew Perry because he reminds me of Matthew Perry. So ignore the little, the little nicknames and whatnot. It just made identifying certain characters a lot easier for us. So we got to talk about. So, well, let me ask you this, Savannah. Do you want to leave Stig Helmer as number one, or do you want to leave him for last?
I think we can talk about him first because what I think we need to talk about last is a supernatural element. So, for
Okay.
example, like what was going on that was like, like the ending and the pregnancy.
Okay, so I'm
So,
gonna go through. I gotcha, I gotcha. So we'll go through by going Stig Helmer, Rigmor, and then let's get in like Boulder. Oh, we'll say Boulder and his mother for last, because that's really where the super elements. Well, I'll work our way
yeah,
down
we
to the
can get into that
supernatural.
story.
So first, let's talk about Stig Helmer, played by Ernest Hugo Jagare or Jarge. Loved him. He was a one of those characters that you just love to hate, but still ended up loving somehow because he just added a lot to the show.
I think he was the show, most of it. He was my favorite character, at least. Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting because he's supposed to be one of the villains, but what ends up happening is he's also used for like comic relief, which I thought was really interesting.
Yeah, they
I mean,
usually
most
don't give comic relief to like the main characters, you know?
especially like the villain, yeah.
Yeah. And I really liked how, first of all, I really love how nearly every single episode this guy, and the character Stig Helmer is Swedish and everyone else is Danish, and he has this whole Swedish supremacy where he thinks Sweden is so much better and everything like that. And every episode ends with this whole speech on his heritage and how much he loves Sweden. And every episode ends not only with Lars saying, "Oh, with the good and the evil," but it also ends with Stig Helmer saying Danish scum every episode. How did you feel about that, Savanna?
Screaming it into the abyss.
Literally every night. I don't think this man, well, he's the only character who left. He's the only character who went home. And right before he would get off work every time, he would, because right where they filmed, you literally see like a Swedish nuclear plant. Like the county line or the country line is right there.
Yeah.
So every night he would look out, especially in season 1, he would look outside and go out on the rooftop and scream like Danish scum. I don't understand where Lars got the inspo from, but I'm not mad with it, and I thoroughly enjoyed it.
I mean, like, it was also funny because the 2 countries are, like, next to each other.
Yeah.
You wouldn't think he'd hate it so much. Is it
Yeah.
that different? Like, in all honesty, like
I personally
going
don't
to another
know, and I'm
world
not
for
gonna assume
him?
because I'm not gonna start a war between, Denmark and Sweden or anything like that, but
Right.
it was highly entertaining in the show. It was highly, highly entertaining. And you know what's funny? I was looking at, because Lars, his production company is Zentropa. So, and I was looking at the requirements because they have a producer program. I was looking at the requirements, seeing what it would take and stuff. And it's actually like bonus points if you know Swedish. So maybe there isn't an issue. Maybe it's just a little goof and a gaff. Or maybe something happened back then. I don't know Denmark, Swedish history like that. But I thought that was funny how like a bonus point to getting into Zentropa and things like that was knowing Swedish or speaking Swede.
My favorite scene is in the elevator when he's with Hook.
Oh
And
my god, and it's before the weird like initiation that's going on at the hospital with the board members and things like that. And Hook just makes like he takes his nose and like he makes this like weird signal and Helmer's like, "What are you doing?
what
What
the
is
hell
that?"
is that supposed to be?
He was so offended and so hurt. It was a really great scene.
The beginning of the show with him, though, it was great because he had a problem. One of the main problems he had for 3 episodes in a row was that the other doctor named Hook ended up giving this lady, like, an unauthorized MRI. He made it his life mission for 3 days to prove why they should not be giving out MRIs.
So I really, really liked the relationship that, not relationship, but kind of like the cat and mouse game that happened between Stig Helmer and Hook. And I really liked how it progressed because one of the things that we have to note too is Helmer is by far probably the pettiest person within the cast.
Absolutely.
He did not like that the fact that Hook started calling out CT scans, CAT scans, and things like that, so much to the point where Helmer flew to Haiti to make this man into a zombie.
Yeah.
What?
Yes.
Like that's how you really know like you've crafted a full villain. When he's like, "Yeah, I don't like being told what's going to happen, so I'm going to get my lady pissed off, fly to Haiti with a Haitian man, get some voodoo magic and make this man a zombie."
Poor, what was her name? Rigmore?
Rigmore.
Poor
Rigmore
lady.
deserved more. She really did. She really like, and I even when like Helmer was being nice, he was still a prick to her.
He was,
Like
like,
he was
manipulative all the time.
very, and she'd be like, "Oh," and she like she would give him a compliment, and then he would go like, "Yes, I'm a very nice and caring man." Like what?
And I'm
What?
sorry, she was cute. He looked like a dried up sponge.
Oh my
She could have
god,
done better.
dude! Whenever he wore like a mask during surgery, his eye bags would come over the mask. My lord. So that and it's funny because I've seen him in Europa. We talked about his character in Europa for a bit, but I was not expecting him to be this much of a powerhouse in the show.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm so
Absolutely.
happy he was. He brought a lot of, and like just the connections that he had with different people. I really like. his relationship at some point with Mogi, where he's in like he's like essentially like pinching him and hitting him, and then he plays it off as he's giving him like doing chiropractic techniques on him and stuff like that as like one of the boss heads by. Oh, speaking of the boss, we got to jump into Einar
Oh,
Mosgard.
Operation Morning Breeze.
Operation Morning Breeze.
Poor
What an
man.
idea. Do we even know what Morning Breeze was?
I think it was just, like, to pep up the staff or something.
It's funny because I really think we didn't fully understand how much Operation Morning Breeze meant to him until he started dabbling in erotica in season 2 because this man became lost.
It was a sight to see.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I'm so sure nowadays, I don't know if it's in the law within Denmark or Sweden or wherever, but I don't know if keeping female paraphernalia and erotica around the office is going to be a good look. You know what I mean?
The whole hospital was against like, the whole hospital was a
Oh my God.
violation code.
Dude, so
Everything
many HIPAA
there was a
violations.
dog at some point.
Oh, RIP. RIP the dog. RIP that little boy. But like, there's so many like, first of all, like there wasn't even a good I think one of the best things about the show, no one's a good doctor. Stig Helmer completely like
First of all, they're also having meetings every day for 3 hours.
over
Nobody
what? They're
works.
not doing shit. They're
Nobody
not doing
works.
anything.
We
It
didn't see them treat one patient. What was
No, the
going
only
on?
person that they treat is honestly Miss Drusse. But even at
Living
some
rent
point,
free. Rent
but
free.
living rent free, but also she kind of does it on her own with the spirits.
Yeah.
So with I really like the I thought in season 1 I liked the character Einar Mosgard because I like the whole Operation Morning Breeze thing. I I thought it was funny at first, but I found it getting a little bit old with the whole like going to this weird therapist. I don't
Yeah.
understand that therapist character. And at first I thought it was funny. It got a little bit overdone and kind of took away from, what we initially had with the character Einar.
I agree because, he was also this very wholesome character. He was just trying to pep up his staff, and then it kind of got twisted,
Mhm.
and they took it a little too far, and like you said, it really took away from what we liked about the character, and I think a lot of it was also comedic relief that just didn't work.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, for sure. But I really did like him in season 1 where he's just trying to hold, and I did like the intro to him dabbling in erotica and the intro to him, dabbling in the psychotherapist and things like that. But overall, I felt like a little bit more could have been done for his character. Now,
Mhm.
sadly, I think not only is Stig Helmer not going to be returning because the actor passed away shortly after the show aired. I believe Holger may not be, yeah, he is not joining for
Oh,
the next. It's going to be very weird because a lot of people have passed away.
that's sad. I mean, it was almost 30 years ago.
That's true. Yeah, that's true. But so the character Einar Mosgard will not be returning, sadly, in terms of the main actor who plays him. But overall, liked his character. Let's go to Mogi. Let's talk about Mogi. We have a lot to talk about with Mogi, okay?
Mhm.
Mogi is played by Peter Mygid, and he has confirmed that he is coming back in season 3, so that's really cool.
Woo!
Um, I I have a lot of thoughts about Mogi.
Go for
He's
it.
also another villain within this whole. Everyone's a villain at some point, but he is really like just not a good person from the get-go to the
Sure.
very end. Like,
Let's get
first
into
of
it.
all, I think he also like it's weird because he does do a little bit of a redeemingness because he kind of gets not as bad as the series progresses, but he's still pretty bad. I mean, within the first 2 episodes, this man cuts off the head of a cadaver and who kind of sort of looks like him and tries to play a trick on an older nurse who he wants to sleep with and whatnot.
This man, I don't know, like, he was in love with this nurse that is at least 10
Double
years
his age.
older. Yeah, at least, right?
Hmm.
She tells him to get lost, and his idea to win her over is to sneak in, chop the head off of a cadaver, not even deliver it to her, get somebody else to deliver it to her in a plastic bag.
For sure.
That is an idea of, like, love.
And then when he's like, "Hey, don't talk about the plastic, don't talk about the head in the plastic bag, but also I'm gonna volunteer at the sleep clinic, so you're gonna watch me go to bed every night for
It was
like
very
3
creepy.
months."
Very
Very
creepy.
weird. And then the lady, the moment he drops the ball and stops chasing this lady around and now starts freaking out about this head that's now gone missing. Also, I'm not 100% sure what is the significance of the head in the end, because that head kept popping up in scenes all the way till the end of season 2.
Yeah.
So I don't know if maybe, because then the show kind of took a turn, like you said, in season 2, where all of a sudden someone's devil worshiping, and we don't know who. And I wondered if it has to do something with the head,
It probably does.
because
That's
it
what I
would go
thought.
in like this weird night vision goggle style lens, this green and black type of lens. And it would focus on like the head, or like focus on certain things and stuff when things were picking up and getting spooky. Maybe it could have been synonymous for like the devil is watching, but it really didn't do a good job explaining that.
Yeah, I agree. I didn't
All
really
I just took away was, oh, Satan has night vision goggles and he's just looking at everyone.
What? Wait a minute, but, like, okay, I also have questions on that because I really didn't fully understand the whole devil worshipping aspect.
Yeah, because you kind of go from, oh, there's this man here and he killed, first of all, poor Mary. Mary got dropped.
Mary got the worst hand ever
But
in the
Mary got
entire
dropped.
universe.
She was found in the first season and they were like, okay, never mention her again. And they never did.
That wasn't even resolved, right? Did
I,
they buried her, right?
yeah, but she was like squiggling around in the tube. They buried her and she was kind of like, formaldehyde in the tube. I don't
They
know
didn't
what.
resolve that well.
No, they were just like, "Oh yeah, we found your daddy. He's killed, but now your daddy's kind of roaming the hospital, and I guess he's kind of Satan, but like we're not going to talk about that."
Right, he was Satan, right?
Yeah, he had horns.
That's
Like it's
right.
not like, well, he couldn't have been Satan. They literally gave him horns.
But where did he go?
In the walls, he just kind of started haunting out throughout. Maybe that was him with the green vision and whatnot. But my thing is, his name is is
Ooh.
the guy who's, the
Very
devil and
scary.
whatnot. But
Ooh.
like, why? Why him?
It didn't give us a reason because basically the character's backstory is that he was a doctor and he ends up killing his out of wedlock child by giving her chlorine gas.
Yeah, and as screwed up as this may sound, it makes sense. There's some type of cause and effect there. But now, why he's back around and he's haunting the place,
That's
and
what didn't make
also,
sense to me. Like, why did he stick around and how did he become the devil?
yeah, I don't know. I wish we could have gotten a little bit into, because it just kind of leads season 2 to go like, who's devil worshiping in here? And we don't know. And I wish that was a little bit of a morsel, because there was a lot of cliffhangers in the end. There was a lot of cliffhangers and like trying to figure out what was, and I understand, but like I felt like there was a little too many.
I think it was Hook.
I would think so, but where does he have the time? Maybe it's the
He
Haitian man.
he's shacking it up in the the basement of the house. He doesn't leave. It would make perfect sense. It could I mean, it could be, I guess, with all the voodoo.
That's true. That's true. But it really, I really felt like season 2 turned into a portal of like totally unrealistic things. Like no one left the hospital.
That's what I'm saying, it wasn't all, like, coherent. Like,
Yeah.
some of the plot, like, they don't explain, which is fine, it's still a good show, and I'm still entertained, and I liked it, but we don't oh, also, speaking of that, one of the comments on the last episode, that person thought it was Camilla,
Camilla? Who's Camilla?
the nurse.
Oh, the nurse that the Mogi was trying to sleep with.
Mhm.
Oh. Yeah,
Somebody said it
because
was her because when the conversation happened.
y
But I don't
I
know if that makes
I
sense.
don't know because it's like, we don't know about Camilla. We really don't know. We know that she started shagging it up with a med student. Oh, let's
But
not
she
talk
was
about that.
also, like there was also, like, some sexual harassment going on there.
Oh, for sure. Like, the minute that Mogi didn't want her, she was jumping on him in the bed in front of other people while they were sleeping. There's no walls. She was just, and then there's even one point where they're found and she's like on top of him and stuff like that. And even like at that point, Mogi just kind of like clocks out of it. Ew! Sorry,
Bless
I
you.
sneezed. But Mogi just kind of like mentally clocks out of it and starts moving on to the next lady.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about either.
I don't understand. Maybe
He got with
something.
the girl that kept watching, like, the violent movies.
Well, okay. So the reason why she kept watching the violent movie, I believe her character's name was Mona. Mona kept watching the violent movies because she was getting sick a lot during surgery.
But every single day in the same scene every single
Well, what's
day?
crazy is, so they make her watch all these horror movies, which are just little mini vignettes of Lars doing Lars things, you know? They're not real horror movies. And essentially, it goes from him, you know, from her watching all these, and then she gets back and she's like, I'm ready for surgery. And she passes out. I relate to that though. Like,
No
you can
point.
show me blood on the TV. Yeah, I don't care. Whatever. Show me blood in real life. Nope. Nope. I'm gone.
You would think she'd figure that out before she went to medical school.
Yeah, at least at that point. Like, I figured it out when I
Like,
was, you know, that's why I didn't go to medical school, was because it's just a lot easier to deal with pills and drugs than, you know, people
sure.
bleeding out, you know, and things like that. So it is a little bit weird. I mean, I also did, I will say, I liked her in season 2 more, because season 1 she was just kind of stagnant and they kind of gave her like this brain dead appearance where she just watched all these gory horror films. But I
Yeah.
did like the little bit of drama that she added later on in season 2 with
Mhm.
Christian and Mogi.
Yeah.
But I also didn't like how she treated Christian. Christian
Oh,
is just
no.
this little wholesome med student who got scammed and bamboozled by Mogi, because Christian is the one who delivers the head, I'm pretty sure.
Yes.
And he just he likes Mona, and he looks at her while she's watching her horror movies, and she's disgusted by him. She'll be watching a movie, see him in the corner eye, and be like, "Stop doing this."
But then she ends up with the guy that's a complete psycho.
Yeah, well, at some point they also, Mona and Christian, like, she's like, "Oh yeah, no, I like you just fine." And then the minute they go into surgery, you know, Moge gets a little too close to her and they start smooching. And then the
That's
whole storyline with the
ridiculous.
Falcon. God, there's so many. This is probably the, I'm surprised that that they didn't bother changing, because this was all filmed at an actual hospital. And this hospital still stands and it still has the same name. I would have been like, if I lived in Denmark, I would have been like, don't take me there. They
Change
had
it.
so many red flags in the show.
Absolutely. So many
Like,
violations.
especially Christian, who then disguises himself as the character Falcon at one point and starts driving on the opposite side of the highway.
Yeah.
What is that about?
But one of the wildest things that this show does too. I who's what is Mogi's dad's name?
Einard.
Einar. The complete what I'm sure is a felony he creates in the this man gets up in front of the board and says, "Hey, I am dying and I need a liver. So
Oh,
here's
wait,
what
wait,
we're
wait, wait,
gonna
wait. No,
do."
that's Bondo, and that's not Moge's father. That's Moge's teacher.
Ah, I'm sorry, mixed it up, mixed it
So that's
up.
Bondo.
Bondo, right? Gets up in front of the board, says he's dying, he needs a liver, and he goes, "Yeah, the patient that's dying, we could just take his liver."
But first, they didn't start off like that. Remember, he just says, like, I need to do research. I want this
Oh,
guy's
yeah.
hemosarcoma, heptosarcoma. I want the sarcoma. And everyone's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, yeah, we'll try to get it for research." And then we end up realizing that this dude just it's not even that he needs a bad kidney. It ends up being that he just wants to be the person who has the largest liver tumor recorded.
The
Because when
psychotic thing.
he dies, he wants to be able to donate his body for science and lead to a discovery.
Can I But the most insane part is the board goes along with it. Within 5 minutes of him
Twice.
telling them, yeah, him telling them this ridiculous story, they're just like, "Yep, sounds reasonable."
Like, that liver was probably in and out of that man 5 times at least, because the amount of times that he well, first of all, there's, like he's like, "Okay, I want the liver," and then he ends up with, like, really aggressive cancer, and he's like, "I don't want the liver." Then he goes, "I miss the liver," and because Moge is like, "You're sick. You need to be a man of science." And then so he gets back the liver. Like, what? And then I loved how it immediately goes like, "Oh, he needs surgery." Next thing you know, the guy's bald. Didn't even go through chemo. He's just bald. What where's the explanation of that? So that was a
Well,
little a
we need to
little
talk
whack.
about how the character ends up.
Would you here, you go explain that part.
So, well, this is the same person that goes to Haiti, correct? With Helmer.
Are you talking about wait. Are you talking about the Haitian man?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking about the Haitian doctor, that the like psychic doctor that's brought along. And
Mhm.
then first of all, that was the most jarring scene ever.
It was random.
I was running on the treadmill when that happened and I almost fell because it was just one of those things where I wasn't expecting. It first starts off with Miss Drusse, where she's like, I'm hearing voices and stuff. He drinks a beer, goes, I can fix that, and reaches into her brain aggressively. Blood splatters everywhere, and he eats a tumor. Then he goes to hepatomasarcoma guy, rams his fist through him, pierces the skin, grabs the tumor, and eats it. What was that about?
I want to, if we ever get a chance to to talk to Mr. Von Trier, I want to know where the whole voodoo subplot came from, cuz that was the most random situation he could have put in this like show. I do not understand why we needed to see that.
It was so jarring. It was so
He got
crazy.
shock value, but you gotta explain why we're having like, I mean, maybe it'll explain the devil worshipping, yes, but
But
it
I will say I did enjoy it because it was the shock factor. But I also really realized liked how the fact that this guy, he's so proud that he has this little cancer tumor. He's not doing anything to it, and then it gets ripped out of him literally. And
no, I
then
like that he loses it. I But the way it happens is the most random situation.
for
It's not
sure,
coherent.
for
It has
sure,
nothing to do with anything. He just, yeah, that's it.
it
We'll get the doctor to just rip it
so
out.
weird. It was so weird. Um, the next two characters I think we have to talk about are the two dishwashers. Once
Ugh,
again, played by Birgit Ragberg and Vita Jensen. And they carried the show. They fully carried the show, literally the
fabulous.
plot of it on their back. I love the idea that you have these two very innocent like characters who are not a part of the situation at all and are kind of like not only giving hints as to what's going to happen next, but little morsels of explaining or at least attempts at explaining what's going on.
Yeah.
And also, oh my god, my little heart in the end when he goes, "Will you marry me?" Oh my god, this show had
Best part of the show.
everything. This show had everything. You had tumor, you had voodoo priestess ripping out tumors, and you had little kids getting married, and it was so cute, and I loved it. It was so great. They were so adorable. I loved them.
Absolutely.
They were great. And
Beautiful.
it really was just a great idea. And I really hope that they do. I'm not entirely sure, and their IMDb pages aren't like complete. I really hope they make a comeback. That would be
I
amazing.
would love to see them married.
Or at least to have, if for some reason they're not able to do it, at least to have two other characters kind of like them. I
Absolutely.
really hope, like, even if by any chance, the actors aren't around to do it, that they would get two other actors, to
And
do the role.
kudos to Lars for that, for
Oh, for
doing
sure.
that.
At the time, there were no, you know, eh, there was a total lack of representation
Sure.
back then and even now. Like at most, in terms of, and for those of you who may not know and stuff like that, the characters, the two dishwashers, both of them have Down syndrome. And they did a great job, great performance and everything. And this was way before, Peanut Butter Falcon and, American Horror Story and things like that. So it was really cool to see, these two actors. I really love them. I thought they were great and they added a really great charm to the show.
I totally agree.
All right, who else do we have to talk about?
Maui.
Maui, little Maui. I mean, she was
We
cool.
talk about Mary. We talked about Mary.
We talked about Mary a little bit. I don't have the actress's name in front of me right now.
Oh, you know who we need to talk about?
Who do we need to talk about?
Hook's girl. What was her name?
Her name was Judith, I believe.
Judith. Okay. She got violated on this show.
They did Judith wrong. Let's be honest. Oh, and by the way, I think I messed up. I think the two dishwashers' names were Morten Runten Leffers and Vita Jensen. Vita Jensen is being the girl. And then Judith Peterson is played by Birgit Raberg. So I messed that up. And I'm
Okay.
probably botching all these names, but I'm trying.
That's fine.
But Judith got messed up. She
Judith,
got screwed over for
she
sure.
really, this poor woman didn't do nothing wrong to nobody. Just got messed up. Season 1 and 2.
Mm-hmm. I really, I am not sure how I feel about some things with Judith. I liked her all throughout season 1. I felt like she was done a dirty job in season 2 because I'm sorry, but when you look at her child, I wish they maybe had explained, like, maybe she was under the effects of the devil, or, maybe under drugs, or whatever it could be. Maybe she had, like,
Something had to
postpartum
explain him.
hysteria. I don't understand how she could look at what she birthed and be like, my kid, when, and just the idea of how this baby looked. You got Udo Kid, the guy who plays Ooh, in
Ooh.
this giant gremlin looking body, but with a regular human head.
It was the most deformed thing I think I've seen.
It was pretty awful. It was pretty
It was also
awful.
like 12 feet tall for some reason.
And it had skinny, skinny limbs, but they just were endless. He looked like a tree.
He was gray. He was
It was
gray.
so weird. And then he did a little baby voice like, Mama,
I
Mama. Why did they make him talk? He was like
They should have at
5 days
least made him
old.
sound like a man. There was I don't like that they did the whole "Mommy, read to me." It was really gross.
It was also very okay. One thing, and this is, I literally messaged Savanna saying that things got kinky and scary, and then I sent her a voice memo saying "kinky ad skadume," which is kinky and scary in Danish, because you got a grown ass man, and he's in the body of a baby, and he's acting like a baby, and you're gonna bring breastfeeding into the equation. I can't. This is just weird.
I
Just
don't think it needed to go that far.
it did not need to go that length. And also, the minute like went, Mama, I was like, nope, nope, I don't like this. That baby is 2 weeks old max, and you're telling me he's saying full sentences. You're telling me he can quote Shakespearean prose. I can't.
Well,
No.
the child was essentially the devil's child because she pretty much got with the devil at one point on the show before it happened, and she ends up pregnant. And it's interesting because the pregnancy is growing at a crazy rate, and we're not really sure what to suspect. We think it's supernatural.
Yeah.
That pregnancy scene,
Oh, you mean season 1, episode 4, the birth
yes,
scene?
where she's birthing this
Jarring.
thing. It's very impressive. I will give kudos to Lars again it was very impressive to watch because I've never seen anything like that.
For
The
sure.
closest thing I can think of was it looked kind of like Alien,
Mhm.
but it was 20 times worse.
Oh, yeah, because you remember, like, with, the android in Alien, where he's, like, just, head and he's spitting up milk? It's as gross as that, but worse.
Oh, no, I think it's more disgusting. Yeah,
For
it's
sure.
more disgusting.
It just I really, like I really wish, and it's funny because here we go, once again, Lars with Antichrist, this is the Antichrist before Antichrist, if that makes any sense. But I like the idea that yes, this baby was born. It was weird looking, and it clearly had resemblance to. Ooh, I
Ooh.
like that aspect. I did not, and I had no issues with the baby growing at that rate and looking that weird and looking that deformed. I did not like how it had a persona, or at least a innocent like persona.
Yeah, but that was the whole thing. That was the good and the evil. That's what Lars was
I
referring
kind of wish
to.
it was more like, and maybe this is what they'll go with it. Maybe it was like, you know, well, I mean, spoiler, where they kill the baby and it's disgusting.
But they kill it after, like, a few weeks.
Yeah, it's
It's not even
technically
a baby,
murder.
it's
It's
this
technically
deformed
it.
thing. It's
At that point, I feel like legally, if someone were to look at that court case, it wouldn't be murder. Well, it would have to be murder because it looked like an adult male. But
I
also,
mean,
why
technically
was
it was
no
a
doctor phased by what
yeah.
they saw?
Wait, one doctor was like, "This is common. We've
But
seen this
also,
before."
Helmer never
Bro.
came in and saw that.
He was too busy
He was too busy. He never
screaming at the
saw.
Danes.
Never, 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 never. And like even the doctors that did come in were like, ah, yes, this happens every 1 in 160 million babies. And everyone's like, what?
And then Hook Hook tries. Poor man. He's really trying to be supportive here, but
Oh, then he got voodooed.
yeah.
He got voodooed and then completely did a personality change. He almost kills a young girl who's like has suffering from brain damage. And he doesn't because he's like, oh, I'm gonna get, Helmer in trouble. But he complained, like he went from like one of my most favorite characters to a character I was like, bro, like just go to sleep, go to the basement.
Go home. Oh, we didn't even talk about how he lives in the basement for no reason. There's no good reason. He's just like, "Yeah, it's easier." He has a full-fledged apartment in the basement. I don't know. That's definitely a violation somewhere. You cannot live where you work, especially in a hospital. You could be smothering people and you could be going up and, like, killing everybody. What is
Yeah, it
that?
just
I was so upset. Like, you are a doctor, you can afford an apartment, and you're shacking it up in the hospital basement. And also, it was a weird. It wasn't like an apartment setup. It was weird. They had like test tubes down there. It looked like it was being in use as well.
I mean, it would have made sense for him to be the one to like now starting to praise Satan and whatnot because he's literally in the basement. Probably, and keep in mind with hospitals, usually like the pharmacy is the basement, and then you have like storage and then morgue. So this dude is probably like, 8 levels down. He's really close to the core of the earth at this point. So I can understand if maybe the dude's getting a little bit, little scurvy because he's not seeing the
Scurvy.
sun, or some type of vitamin D deficiency and goes, yeah, I'm going to pray Satan. Like I wish that was included in the end of season 2.
Would have clarified some
It
things.
would have made sense. Um but yeah, so he's living in the basement. And I kind of liked him in the beginning where he's like, "Oh yeah, don't worry baby girl. I'm going to help you raise this baby." And then he gets voodooed and he's like, "Kill that thing." And I'm going to try to kill another young girl and I'm just on a warpath and I'm the villain now. Very weird. And I wonder if within the third season he's going to, because he's coming back, I wonder if he is going to still keep up with this whole, oh my god, you know who I really hope, I'm just putting this out there right now, Mr. Lars Von Trier, please somehow put William Dafoe in the show. He would shine.
Please,
He would
Daddy
do so good. He would do
Defoe.
so good. Please put him in the show. He would be so great. Are you kidding me? Literally put him in because he could play the devil. Come on. He played Jesus. He could play the devil too.
He has the face for it.
He's got the nose. He's got a devilish nose.
And the smile.
For sure. For sure. So as of right now, what I'm looking at, and we still have some more characters to talk about. The ones that are confirmed to return are Rigmor, Moge, and Hook. Those are the only ones
Fuck,
confirmed to
okay.
return right now.
Okay. Okay. That's
So it
pretty
should be
good.
interesting. I hope we see maybe Christian and Mona and things like that, but maybe, who knows, maybe those will be little secrets here and there. But we got to talk about the the mom and son duo that is Miss Drusse and Boulder. She
Name a better
finesses the
duo.
system. She
Name a better
finesses.
duo.
She finesses the whole system. She gets to live there rent free, gets free jello, has her own little cult of spiritualists that
Dude,
she
she
gets to
runs
hang
the
out with.
hospital. She runs the hospital. She's just roaming around.
Honestly, she did more than the doctors.
That's
She did
true.
more than the doctors for sure.
I'm sorry, but Boulder was not doing his job. Nobody said anything when he
But
was just roaming around with
one
his
of my
mom.
favorite lines is when after she gets hit by Helmer in his car, she's in the hospital and she's coming to, and Boulder is singing her some type of communistic Russian lullaby. She goes, "What are you doing?" And he goes, "You told me you were a communist in your youth." And she goes, "I was a columnist. I worked for the newspaper." I thought that was so funny.
Absolutely.
Love that
He
scene.
was trying. Sweet man.
He
Really
tried. He
loyal.
really tried. And honestly, I'm sorry, but if my mother was a spiritualist and worked at the hospital that I worked at, I could not entertain that. I
He
could
didn't in
not.
the beginning. He tried to get rid of her, but then he just accepted.
Very
Well,
quickly,
yeah.
very quickly, he was like, "Mom, go home." No, okay.
And
You know, and
then his full-time job became following her around the hospital. Nobody said anything.
no
Nobody
one
looked for
went
him.
home. No one went home except for Helmer.
Even him. It was very scarce.
Like, no one went home. No one left the hospital. And like, yeah, I understand that like doctors, yeah, that's their job and they do long hours and
They
stuff,
didn't even
but
go out for lunch.
no. And you know what happened? The minute Moge left, boom, hit, accident. Potentially
Same
3
same
casualties.
with the Mrs. Drusse. Like the minute she like walks outside the hospital, she gets hit by a car.
Oh, I wonder if that's going to be a thing.
She can't leave.
Yeah, what if they all can't leave?
I mean, Helmer did go to Haiti. Well, maybe that's because he's not from there.
Well, also but he's the only one who's, well, maybe it's like a Denmark curse. He's Swedish. And the guy's Haitian. Maybe he's the only one who can leave. Maybe there's like been a curse on the Danes in the hospital.
That would be wild.
No one leaves. Even the poor brain damaged girl, they don't leave. The dishwashers don't even leave.
They don't. They
They
were down there
don't.
for a long time.
They don't leave. So I really wonder if that's going to be played. I wonder if there's like some type of curse or some type of thing where it's like, I mean, like for example, the 3 that leave, I mean, so far it's looking like, especially with the casting and whatnot, it looks like Moge somehow still lives. And sadly, Mona and Christian are just gone because Christian decided to ram, Moge's car with an ambulance because he wanted to be cool and stuff.
His ways of being cool are just so odd. The
Now,
head and then that.
okay, I have a theory. I think Moge dies. And you want to know why I think that?
Why?
I think the guy who plays Peter Maygid, the guy who plays Mogi, I don't think he's going to come back as Mogi. I think he's going to come back as the head that happens to look like Moge.
Interesting. Okay.
And then he's going to be evil and start doing evil stuff all around the hospital.
They
As if there isn't enough already.
burn it down. Burn it.
Like, I truly think it's going to be like, oh yeah, Moge, and it's not really Moge. It's just the satanic head that has just been stuck. I mean, if you put a head, like a cadaver's head, 8 levels down near the Earth's core, it's just science at some point. It's going to happen and start conjuring up things. That's too much. That's too much energy.
They need to burn it down.
Well, they shouldn't because it actually is a live functioning hospital right now, and I know because I was trying to
I
look
meant
up
in the
information.
show. I meant in the show.
In the show.
That should be how it ends. They just destroy the whole hospital. Could you
Yeah, I
imagine
mean,
going through all that and then be like, "Oh, I got work in the morning. It's fine."
but
What?
also, like, all these people should be retired. How are they gonna bring them along? Like
Hmm.
like, Rigmor got to be retired, unless they're visiting her in some old age home and she's, like, remembering about Stig.
But everyone else is also older.
Oh, wait,
At
can we also
least
talk about, how unhinged Rigmor is? She attempts to kill her lover, and then they get married.
I mean, I didn't like that.
I thought it was a good shock because she teases him the entire season 2, like, for, like, 2 episodes, I think, which is half of the season, and then goes, like, "I'm your little badger nibbling at your bones," and he's like, "I don't know what to do with this information." Like, he's just like, "Okay, and your point?" And then she finally, like, shoots him, and it grazes him. She's got great aim when it comes to the rats on the 8th floor in the basement. But the minute she wants to kill her partner, boom, she just grazes him.
This man deserved so much worse. Like, "Come on, Rigmore," and then she marries him. I'm like, "Where is your self-respect? This man told you he was gonna take you to Haiti, left you with your eyes closed, saying, 'I'll be back with a surprise,' and left."
Could you imagine being Rigmore and being like, "Oh yeah, like, I almost and attempted to kill my husband because he planned a trip to Haiti for us and instead took a Haitian man with him. That's not a good ending story."
It's not.
It's not. That's really rough. That's really rough. She got dirtied and she tried doing dirty, but it didn't work. I'm excited to see her again. I really think she looks great in, like, the photos and whatnot. We also have to talk about the man who plays Udo
Ooh,
Kier. Once again, he was in the movie Europa. Fan of him in that. Um, I don't know, because here's the thing. I like the character Ooh, and I was actually for it when all of a sudden Ooh starts forming horns.
yeah, I don't know,
I thought that was pretty cool, but then here's the thing. Udo Kier as Ooh, yeah, I'm gonna give that, 10 out of 10 Oohs. Him as Frederick, the little weird infantile mess, not
no,
a fan of.
I didn't like that character at it was just so bizarre. It wasn't even like, "Oh, I just didn't like it." It was too bizarre. It was too much.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things where there's so much going on the screen, you're not really paying attention to the subtitles or even listening to it because you're just trying to comprehend what's in front of you.
It I also, Lars Von Trier likes very interesting looking people.
For sure.
He picks very unique looking people for his films, and he is one of them,
Mhm. Oh
for
yeah,
sure.
he's got,
He's
like, the
got that
stark, like,
face.
bright green eyes and everything like that. For sure. Even Helmer looks different. I mean, it could just be Danish people. We've just never seen Danish people before. But even, like, a lot of them. Oh my god, Moge looks like a cracked out version of Bo Burnham, especially when he opens up his eyes all the way. My god, remember that one scene where he just,
Yeah,
like,
it's just
he
his
looked like
eyeball.
Momo, the meme Momo, just, like, staring at you. It was crazy. But
Yeah.
everyone, it definitely has, like, a certain look and stuff, and I'm for it. Miss Drusse was great and stuff like that. She was an angel throughout the entire show. She did a lot. She really did everything. She saved everyone. No one gave her any credit. She watched a man viciously get killed by Satan out of nowhere. It was
She
just
didn't
like,
need
"Oh, hey,
that.
how are you?" And then all of a sudden he's bleeding out of every orifice.
She was just trying to fix the hospital. She was
Boulder
just
was
trying to
good, but he was kind of good in aiding, and it made sense. An old woman like Miss Druce could not do what she did without the help. So I thought Boulder was good in that regard, but I also did feel like there wasn't a lot of, a lot of things that Boulder offered.
No, I mean, I really do think the character was there as a support for Miss Trug.
Hmm.
So,
So in terms of season 3, there's not a whole lot of information yet. There's still, like, not the entire cast has been announced, except so we do have I think it's a Vigo, not Mortensen, but what's his name? Hannibal's brother.
Mikkelsen?
Yes, I think his name is Viggo Mikkelsen is going to be playing he's going to be in season 3. I hope they get Mads too. That'd be a powerhouse, you know.
Yeah, of course.
So, what do you think we're going to see from Kingdom season 3, you know?
I cannot tell you just because how unpredictable the show became. Like, when I tell you, like, the show went from, like, one thing to, like, one, hospital drama, supernatural, spooky, to, like, to devil worshipping, erotica, just wildness, a deformed, antichrist baby, like, it just went from one extreme to the other.
Mhm.
So, I don't know. I mean, I hope we get, at the very least, I'd like some answers. I'd like to know why how do you say it?
Ooh.
Ooh, I would like to know why ooh did all this mess.
And we're not just making fun of it. Like that's literally how they pronounce his name on the show. It
Yeah.
looks like it's written as like Age or Ag, but they just go ooh every time they like address him.
Yeah, so ooh, I would like to know why he shacked up with this woman and had a baby and why he's the devil and why
Like
he
I can
runs the
understand the whole
hospital.
like yeah, antichrist thing. But I wonder if by any chance cuz I haven't seen the film Antichrist. I wonder if it actually has any type of connection with the movie.
Okay, we'll watch it and let us know.
Oh yeah, that'll happen during Freak Week.
Oh, yep, that'll be some point this year.
So, just some more information about season 3 before we wrap up and just kind of give our final thoughts on the show. It's now going to be known as the Kingdom Exodus. Third final season will appear in 2022, expected to shoot
Ooh,
next year.
Exodus. They're gonna
Oh no,
leave.
it's shooting this year. Um,
Hope they exit the hospital.
and 5 hour long episodes. Uh,
5 hours?
yep.
How many episodes?
It's 1 hour, so it's 5 hours in
Oh,
total.
I was about to say, what is he gonna talk about?
Lars is writing and directing every episode, so there's that. So you know he's gonna bring the heat. You know he has a lot more because even like when you compare to like his '90s work to early 2000s, mid 2000s work, he really what's the word?
Evolved?
Yeah, evolved into a lot more. So I have a feeling it's probably going to be like 3 times scarier, 3 times more messed up. Because I would be very surprised if he was like, I'm going to give them all a happy ending.
No, that's not the man we know, unfortunately. No. No, I don't. Oh, yeah, I didn't think about the fact that it's probably going to be a lot worse, though. Because at the end of the day, no matter how jarring it was very watered down for Lars Von Trier. Just from watching
Oh,
the
for
the
sure.
house that Jack built, it was very, very watered down.
And even like his watered down is still very good. And I think that
No,
really just
yeah, yeah,
shows
and
that
I'm just terms
he's
of yeah.
a good director writer even without like the full shock factor or the full like anxiety inducing scenes that he's just known to make. He's a very good writer one way or another.
It was just toned down Lars. That's it.
For sure. I think this was TV safe. Safe's not the right word.
Ah,
Um
I don't know. Maybe Danish TV is different than here
oh, for sure. Just
because
based
some of
off
this
this
stuff
one
wouldn't
show.
fly.
Because I don't think this would well cuz well, one thing I didn't like, and I will say this in Lars's defense, I did not like the fact that Stephen King was like, "Oh, I really like Riget, so I'm going to make Riget," and they literally did a U.S. remake called Stephen King's Kingdom. Get out of here! Give Lars the
I didn't
credit.
know that. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like how they completely like took away like his idea and stuff like that, and then they try to rewrite it, and it ended up only getting one season. I don't even think they did everything right. It's just weird.
That sucks.
Ooh, okay, so here's a little bit of another morsel about season 3, and it literally starts with, "Here's a cryptic statement from Von Trier." A cryptic statement. Are you ready for it?
Mhm.
Oh my god, okay. And this is him talking about Riget. Borders come in many forms. They may be lines drawn with rulers on white paper, often invisible to whoever chances to visit the actual geographical locations. The lines of the borders may be illustrative, if not to say quite fictitious and downright mean. They may be drawn in soft red color, practically invisible, and perhaps even as a dotted line, as if almost indicating an apology or even shame. This man's off. He's off
I
his.
hate this
He's off
man.
his.
This man goes, I'm going to show everybody all these people are stupid.
I
I'm going to
can't.
say this in the most pretentious.
Oh, he better return at the end of every episode and just kind of like school us on what we need to
Oh,
know and
yeah.
just say like how like, oh, if you don't like this, you're stupid.
At one point, I think it was season 1, episode 2 or 3, he's like, if you don't like this, your life is boring. You need to reevaluate yourself.
Yeah, literally
Like,
season
bro.
2. Literally season 2. I'm sorry, season 1, episode 2 is where he says like, yeah, if you don't like this, maybe your life's a little dull and boring and you need a better life. Like what?
This man was always just telling us how wrong we are and how stupid we are constantly.
Is with a little devilish smug grin on his face too.
He
I
is
mean, I enjoyed it. I
talented.
thought it was funny, but
He's serious though. That's not the fun. We're laughing because it's ridiculous, but at the end of the day, he's serious, and that is what I think is funny.
there was also, hold on, there was another statement. I'm trying to load that just kind of does not really help with understanding what's going on. But oh my god, this is it literally just continues talking about like the lines and the blurring, but I don't know why my iPad's having a hard time loading it.
No, he hates us. He just wants us to make us feel stupid. That's why he does these
Oh,
things.
I thought you were saying like just us, like you and me. I was like, I don't know if he knows us.
No, probably. I'm really scared of the day where if he finds us.
He's either way, him liking us or him not liking us is gonna go really bad either way. Like, I would love to have a conversation with the man, but it's I just have a feeling it's gonna be very two different stark things. Like if he doesn't like us, it's gonna be bad. If he really likes us, it's gonna be bad. I don't see him being. I'm indifferent about the two. I don't see that happening.
The man scares me. That's why I'm afraid. Like, the man genuinely scares me. He's
And
very
you know what?
talented.
He
Not taking that away
probably
from him.
loves that.
He's a good director. He's very, very talented, but he like scares me a little bit. Like, I don't want to talk to him. You can talk to him and
Yeah, I'll go to Zentropa. I'll go to Copenhagen, and I'll
just be like, I speak for both of us. So like
sure thing. Could you imagine like I bring him on during Freak Week?
oh my god, surprise for me.
No, I'm thinking like in terms
Hi.
of because a lot of it would be watching his movies like Breaking the Waves, Antichrist, Nymphomaniac, and things like that. Could you imagine it's like a Dante and Virgil type of situation where he's the Virgil and he's just leading me down his filmography and it progressively just gets more intense?
Absolutely.
Oh Lord, oh Lordy Lord. I want to get like it's not loading. I wanted to read that last cryptic statement from the man. But as far as I know, it's a co-productions being done in originally where it was done, which is whatchamacallit? It's literally called like Kingdom Hospital in Copenhagen. It's a legit hospital that they filmed it at.
Interesting.
Yeah, so you're gonna have some returns, and then like I said, they are adding on Mikkelsen, the brother Mikkelsen, and someone else I saw. Nicholas Bro and Boldil Jorgensen. So somewhat new
Okay.
people and things like that, some old people. It should be without a doubt interesting, regardless of where it goes.
We're gonna watch it together again because I think it's gonna be very, very scary.
Oh, for sure. For sure. And also, like, hopefully, maybe I kind of want to watch it a second time around just to see if I can fill in any of those gaps. Especially, my biggest concern is with the head. Like, that head that's just chilling in the basement, which has no sign of decay, by the way.
Oh yeah, it's been fresh for weeks.
I can't. Hold on, let's find another. I pulled up the part where it says cryptic statement. Let's see. So he continues and says, nevertheless, the lines hang there in an inconceivable number, and together they constitute those territories that the inhabitants are strong enough to defend. Oh my lord,
What does he
going
want
on?
from us?
Entering and leaving often entail violence. 4, of course, any visitor is expected to return after ending his or her business. Oh my god, he continues. Oh my god, he continues. It's a full paragraph. I thought it was just a little statement. My bad.
I feel like he would be the type of person that if someone figured this out, he would be upset. I feel like he'd be like, "You weren't supposed to know that."
I feel like I should. Okay, this is him talking about Exodus, Kingdom Exodus. I'm going to read out this last paragraph just to get the full scope of what we can feel and intend on feeling for season 3. On Earth, the machine that makes everything go round, all life that is dependent on the conflicts which the line provokes, as if by design. Whether Exodus actually means entering or leaving depends on the angle from which the border is observed. But the word simply describes a large number of individuals crossing a pencil-drawn line together. Why? There's an imbalance between good and evil. Good and ugly. The limit has been reached, at least at the kingdom, but I cannot testify that it will be easy and bloodless to pick the 7 astral locks of the world simultaneously with doctor's blood. Oh my god. I hit my microphone.
This man thinks he's a prophet. I don't understand. What does he want from us?
I don't know. I don't know. I'm still gonna watch it. I gotta figure out how I'm gonna get it. I gotta see if I can get Denmark channels. How am I gonna watch it? How are we gonna watch it?
We'll figure it out. We gotta figure it out.
God,
we gotta look it
could you
up.
imagine if we got a promo disc from Zentropa? I'll see if I can get it for us.
Just email them. Be like, please.
I will literally
please. Please. Just
we're like, hey, we're the only Americans talking about this show right now.
They're gonna wait. No, they're not gonna send us it because they're gonna know you're the one that accessed the document on the Instagram.
Stop. Why are we bringing that up? Look, guys, I accidentally got into some Zentropa information that I wasn't supposed to get into. It was by accident, purely by accident, nothing more, nothing less. Savanna, how dare you oust me like that? Now everyone's gonna be like, oh my god, is one half of Purple Noon trying to hack into Zentropa?
It wasn't a hack. It wasn't a hack. It was a finding. It's their fault, really.
It's out there. It's out there. Fault. It just shouldn't
You're
be.
You're not a hacker. What did you? No, it was there in plain sight. No wrong.
That's all good. But now they know. Now they know. And I guess I'll just say, hey, I only shared it with 2 people. They don't speak Danish, so we didn't get very far. So
just be like, we love the show so much.
I really enjoyed the show. So speaking of that, let's rate the show. So overall, Savanna, season 1 and 2 of RIGET, what do you give the score? And if it was available on like a DVD box set, would you own it?
I'd definitely own it. I'd actually give it a 9 out of 10. It's very, very, very entertaining. Not a full 10 for me, just because it's a lot of it doesn't make sense, especially for season 2. Some of the story is just kind of random. But other than that, it's a great show. If you like something like, if you've seen Twin Peaks and you want something a little bit more on the supernatural extreme side.
And just totally something different. And I like that this is like Twin Peaks, smaller than the average TV show. It doesn't go on for 8 seasons. There's not like 1,000 episodes, it's definitely very digestible. And I think it's something that, a lot of people would find entertaining. It's ridiculous, but entertaining.
Yeah.
I think for me, for sure, I want to own the box set. I'm actually trying to find one, but I can't find one that would work on my DVD player. So, Zentropa people, yes, please make a US version DVD so I can have both season 1 and 2. I would really like that. Or Criterion. Honestly, Criterion could probably pick this up.
Sure, why not?
Criterion could probably do like a really solid box set on it as well. So fingers crossed for that one day. Especially like right before season 3, that would be fantastic. But overall, I'd probably I'd give the show an 8.8.
Don't rate it lower than me.
I'll give it a 9.2.
Thank you. Do not rate it lower than me, because I don't want to be a psycho.
No, we all know if anyone has psychotic taste on this show, it's me. It's without a doubt me. Because you like good movies. You like well-perceived movies. You like Goodfellas. You even like, The Woman Next Door with Me. My movies are either about, like, Lars on a 4-day bender, or, you know, Brando at his best and worst, you know? It's
But
just
you
very
like them for the film aspect, and I can respect that. You don't idolize the films, you like them for very good reasons, and you criticize it where it needs to be criticized. So I
thank
wouldn't
you.
say you're a
Thank you for defending
psycho.
me.
No, I think from a film perspective, you have a lot of you have a lot of right to like the movie. So, definitely not.
Thank you for that. But yeah, since I really do like the show, I don't know why 8.8 felt fine, but I understand that I have my own responsibilities here, and that is to be the Lars lover. Savanna cannot burden that title, so I will
I
be the
don't
Lars lover, and I will adorn a 9.2.
I don't need this coming back to me.
That's fair. That's totally
Somebody
fair.
commenting like, "Oh, remember that time you gave it?" No.
That's
Lars is very creepy to me still, so I can't.
Oh my
Sorry.
god. Could you imagine one day I get like Lars on a phone call here? I feel like you would just scream and hang up. Or you'd go,
Look,
huh, hi.
I've said he's very talented. I said I respect him kind of in terms of like how he makes movies. I don't like the guy. I think he's very conceited. He said a lot of not nice things. And truthfully, I'm scared a little bit. So
And that's our final thoughts. As always, thank you. Just cutting you off at
that's
that
it.
point.
That's it.
As always, thank you so much for listening, and thank you so much to Sensei David and Homeboy James. And if you would like a super cool nickname or whatever nickname you want, it doesn't have to be cool. You can't live up to the standard as like Sensei and Homeboy, you know? Can't have too many senseis and too many homeboys. But if you'd like a little cool little nickname, a shout out in every single episode, there check out our Patreon. I almost said Redbubble again.
Ooh,
Weird. I said
nope.
Redbubble the last time. Anyways,
Shh.
check out our Patreon, and just as always, if you're listening to this on YouTube or Spotify, share, like, subscribe, whatever you got to do. Anything that's free to help us out would be appreciated. Also, check out our TikToks. Links are in the link below. And yeah, I think next time we actually have to talk about our schedule because our schedule's kind of gotten a little topsy turvy this month. But at some point, you will hear us again next week on Sunday. And until then, take the good with the ood. Bye.
Bye.